Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're about to do a very interesting video. It's called The Hidden History of Christmas. If you do celebrate Christmas, Merry Christmas. If you don't, Happy Holidays. My birthday is in December, so I was born on the 22nd. So my birthday just passed a few days ago. Hopefully I enjoyed it because this video is pre-recorded. So anyways, I don't really celebrate Christmas. Because I celebrate it, but it's very differently. I celebrate it as like a holiday, not mainly how everybody around the world does it. Because a lot of religions don't really know when Jesus was born, what day he was born. They have a bunch of speculation. If it's so weird how if he is the absolute in the Christian history religion, you would think that they would have a record of when he was born, right? I mean, he's super important. The royal family can trace back to the first member of their family and their birth date. You guys can even do that? Anyways, unless there's like a conspiracy theory where they just don't want people to know because some jealous person wants everybody to go to hell. I don't know. I never really fell for the whole Santa nonsense. From a very young age, my family taught me the value of hard work and things don't come to you for free. So I know Santa was fake from a very young age. I never fell into the whole Santa Claus trap nonsense. So let's see. And also all the history that I have of Santa Claus has been for scary movies, so he and I don't have a good relationship. So let's check out this video and see what it's about. Hey you guys, before we start this video, this is a quick ad to let you know how to support the channel. If you check in the description bar down below, there's a link to my Patreon where you become a Patreon and you can see all the perks that we have on Patreon. You can check us out on PayPal. When you donate through PayPal, you can leave a text or a link to whatever video you want, and that video is done immediately. And also, I just got accepted into getting the YouTube join button. So if you want to join us on YouTube as well, you can definitely do that. By doing these type of things, you actually help support the channel and keep the channel alive, and also help us from the enemy, which is copyright, especially in the type of videos that we do. Copyright is something that we get bombarded by a lot, so doing these type of things definitely does help. And also just subscribing as well is a big plus. Thank you so much for watching. Let's get back into the video.
In the winter season, around December 25th, the people celebrated the winter solstice. And so the winter solstice would come about somewhere from December.
Is that paganism, right? Winter solstice. No? I always wanted to say that word pagan. Because everybody says it and I never get to say it, so was that a pagan thing to do? Let me know. Winter solstice. It sounds pagan. If you never played Shadow Tomb Raider, you wouldn't know what I'm talking about.
21st all the way to around January 6th or so. And so the people of the North would celebrate different holidays, have different occasions based upon the winter solstice. In the wintertime, there is a period where there is no light. You are literally in darkness 24 hours of the day.
Really? Where is that? I'm sorry, I'm from the Caribbean. We never had winter. It was never cold, ever. Unless it was raining and it was just chilly. Is there actually a place around the world where it's darkness for 24 hours? I know here in France, the sun goes on really early, like by like 4 o'clock. Maybe even by 3 o'clock, the sun is gone. And it's at 5 p.m. feels like 10 p.m. So it's actually a country around the world where, well, I think maybe the North Pole, right? North and South Pole. I mean, they at least have 24 hours of darkness, right? I don't know. Let me know.
And this stretches for a period of time. Now, could you imagine if you're living in Alaska or living in Canada
North.
or living in Norway and you don't have central heating?
Yeah.
And the cold is outside. It's darkness around you. People are dying from disease. It's a terrible time, and every family would probably lose somebody, or they would know of somebody dying from the cold and disease during that season. This is the winter solstice. And so when the sun starts to come out, the people now are looking at the sun as a life-giving force. And so during that time, a number of ceremonies were held in northern countries.
Okay.
In the far north was the Feast of the 12 Nights, which stretched from December 25th to January 6th. Also in ancient Greece, there was the Bacchanalia, which was held.
Fun note, Bacchanal, where I'm from, means like a fete, like a dance, like a café bacchanal. It's like you're doing like a party, like a kind of like ratchet-ish. There's a lot of whining and stuff. So that's interesting that he said, and he pronounced that word really, really good too.
For their god Bacchus, the god of wine and sport and play.
Oh,
The
so
Romans had the Saturnalia for their god Saturn, their main.
I will definitely say that the Greeks and the Romans are they the same thing? No, they're not. Their whole religious theology, or whatever the word is it's interesting, but it's kind of weird at the same time. Every single thing had a god for it. They were the god of feast, they were the god of thunder, the god of love, the god of hatred, the god of death. Every single thing in life had a god, and that god ruled over it with absolute power. But then their god kind of died off. So there's that.
Sun god Saturn.
And also in many like stories that they tell, the gods died. So their god could die. Is that a god? And when their god dies, where do they go? Do they just erase from existence? I've always, because I was watching this show called, I forgot the name. It's a Netflix show about Zeus's son. And was a few of the gods died, and I was saying to myself, wait, when gods die in the Greek Nephil, I forgot how to pronounce the word. Where do they go?
Saturn. And so you find during these times that the people held ceremonies in the north. They would burn bonfires. The light was important, the fire, because the fire represents
You pronounce the word fire like how we pronounce it in the Caribbean. I'm sorry.
the light, the life-giving force for those who worship nature. Also in the north, they recognized that there was one tree that despite the cold would still remain alive, the evergreen tree, the fir tree. And so in some cases they would take this fir tree, believing that there was powers of life within the tree, and they would put it in their homes, set it there and put a light on the top of it, or burn them in the front, or they would make mistletoes and put them over their doorways, a type of what we would call ta'wiz or tamima. It is an amulet.
Oh, I didn't know
And they
that.
would hang the amulet over their doors, hang the amulets in their home, hoping that this fir tree, that this so-called life-giving force would protect them from the danger of the winter.
Oh, so that's why they did that. I bet you if you would ask someone right now why you put that on your door, they would have no idea. They would just be like, "That's what they do for Christmas." Because I thought that had no significance. I thought it was just a decoration. Shit.
And so their ceremonies developed around this. And this went on for hundreds of years. We also find in the ancient northern countries, and the Druids of the north, they carried out special ceremonies surrounding the mistletoe and surrounding the fir tree and the beliefs, and they would meet within circular areas. And they had a secretive cult that spread throughout the far northern countries. One of the interesting individuals, and you can look this up, if you can find it in the dictionaries or encyclopedias, is a man called Mithra or Mithras. This is a very mysterious character. And when you look at history, you find that this individual called Mithra was born on December 25th.
Hold up. Wait a minute. What?
His day of the week was the 7th day of the week, that we still call Sunday. He was supposed to be the son of the sun god himself, and they had a special sacrament made up of bread and wine, and they would make this drink during this time, and supposedly he died for the sins of the people. Sounds familiar, doesn't it?
It does.
But when you try to find Mithra or Mithras in the encyclopedias, they, through state intervention, erased the name. Why is this? That is because after the time of Jesus, Isa alayhi salam, when the message began to spread, and they went north, and you'll see within historical writings that Barnabas, one of his disciples, met a man named Saul or Paul, who later called himself Paul. Paul said he saw Jesus on the Damascus road, and he went to the disciples, but the disciples turned against Paul. Only Barnabas stayed with him. But when Paul and Barnabas went into Greece, Barnabas left him. Now, what is the reason why they all left him? What are the concepts coming through Paul? Many people say, well, they left him because he was Saul before, and he used to torture the early followers of Isa alayhi salam. But also you can see, and if you look at present-day Christianity, that most of the concepts of the Trinity, of the blood sacrifice, the original sin, and most of the concepts which relate to more than one God are coming through Paul. The preachers are quoting Paul sometime more than Jesus during their sermons.
Yeah, that's
so
actually
Barnabas
true.
left Paul. And somewhere in the early days, in Rome or Greece, somewhere in that area, those missionaries who were teaching the teachings of Jesus, Isa alayhi salam, met with this force coming from the north. And so you will see in ancient Roman history that in some cases the Roman emperor would go out to the Colosseum, and the gladiators would be fighting each other, and everybody's cheering for the gladiators. Sounds like one of our football games.
Yeah.
They would go to the Colosseum, right? And the gladiators would fight. And then if one of the gladiators was down, and they would look at the emperor, should I kill him or not? And if he wanted to kill him, he would say, he would go like that. Right? You know that sign down. If he said keep him alive, he goes like this. You know how we use it today? Yes. Okay? He gives that sign. Okay?
Oh.
One of the terrible things happening during these rituals at the Colosseum is that they would bring the Christians out, literally men, women, and children, and feed them to hungry animals. They would take a hyena or a wolf or a lion and get it hungry and crazy and beat it and throw raw meat at it and then send it out on the people, and they would literally cheer and watch as the animal ripped the bodies apart. This is a terrible culture.
Whoa.
Tear the bodies apart. And so somewhere along the line, somebody who couldn't take the torture, who felt that maybe we can win these people over, made a compromise. And you start to see changes going on from the early part of the Christian era in Southern Europe, where the major ceremonies held by the nature worshiping people are combined with Christian names and Christian ceremonies, and therefore what comes forth to us is a mixture with the two streams coming together, where you get a monotheistic name or a monotheistic character with a pagan ceremony. And so the mixture of this together is what is giving us the present day holidays that we see. Number one, we understand.
So you guys, I'm really sorry. My camera kind of died off on me, and I watched the whole video, but the camera died off. I didn't realize it was a quite interesting video. it just opened my eyes to a lot of things that I need to. For it just it's a lot of things that we do that we don't know why we do it, but we just do it because we've just been taught to do it all the time. And it's good to question the things that you do and ask where did they originate from. And I think that's something that I should start doing as well. That I should look into why we do it and not just do it. You know, question certain things and look back at the history and the background of it. It was a really interesting video. If you guys like this video, please do like, comment, subscribe, and share. Check me out on Patreon. Join us on Facebook. Join us on YouTube. And check us out on PayPal. If you donate, you can leave a link, and your video takes priority, and it does help support the channel when it comes to like copyright and being blocked in certain areas around the world. So yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video. Ciao.